Like I said in the last video, July 13th, 2024 is definitely going down in the history books. It's been over 43 years since someone got that close to taking out a US president or former president. 43 years. And in that video, the link is below by the way if you missed it, I talked about the failure of the Secret Service and how they had dozens of people on the ground telling the police, hey, there's a man on the roof.
We noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle. We could clearly see him with a rifle.
They allowed a man on the roof, not far away at all, within hundreds of yards, with clear access to the former president. And I wonder, was the Secret Service really this sloppy and incompetent, or did they intentionally leave that building open like that, for one, then allow that fool to bear crawl up there to get in position to do what he did, allowing him to get off several shots before countering? I don't care what anybody says, this was an absolute failure on the Secret Service, and the first person that should be fired right now is the Secret Service Director. Yeah, this lady right here, the DEI Secret Service Director, Kimberly A. Cheadle, the 27th Director, sworn into office on September 19th, 2022. Ms. Kimberly here is more concerned with filling up the Secret Service with women than picking the right people for the job. She said it herself, in about 5 years, her goal is to turn the Secret Service into 30% female.
And I look forward to a day where we're able to talk about this agency and whoever is leading this agency and not have to distinguish, oh, they're the second female or the fifth or the sixth, and that diversity is just part of this agency and it's not even thought about.
To expand hiring, they're aiming to have 30% women recruits by 2030.
But I'm very conscious as I sit in this chair now of making sure that we need to attract diverse candidates and ensure that we are developing and giving opportunities to everybody in our workforce, and particularly women.
That workforce will be pivotal for the 2024 campaign season, which for the first time includes a former president who already has lifetime protection.
Yeah, that's why you saw these 3 dweebs out there calling themselves protecting Trump. They look crazy, clueless, and incompetent. Look at them. Then right after the attempt, one of them was directly in front of Trump, holding up her little short arms and bending down at the same time. For what, I don't know. Maybe she wasn't trying to get hit herself. Just stupid, by the way. I'm sorry, it's certain jobs you sign up for that's very high risk, and you basically sign up to give your life away if you have to. The military is definitely one of those, and the Secret Service law enforcement is another. If you would rather be a soft girl or listen to Taylor Swift on the weekend at the hair salon, this just isn't the job for you. And in my opinion, it's perfectly fine that most women don't want to be a Secret Service agent, because we shouldn't want to be. I say leave that to the men, let them do their job. We shouldn't be there just standing in the way, looking around all awkward like a bunch of dweebs. It should be competent, stoic men, not worried I don't know how to put my weapon back into my holster, women. It's super embarrassing, but you only get a moment like this because the director is more concerned with having women empowerment brunches at the Secret Service than actually getting the job done. Up here trying to get a Charlie's Angels moment while you have them guarding a former president. I'm sorry, this is unacceptable. And before any noodle brain feminist or simp try to say, well, women should be able to guard presidents too, answer this. If your life was on the line, do you want Charlie's Angels to show up? Do you want the clueless crew, or do you want the best trained men to show up? Let's go a little further. If this had been Obama, will you still feel the same way? Will you want the clueless chicks guarding Obama? Okay, I forgot y'all don't like him no more. You say he not like us. What about Michelle? Will you want the clueless crew guarding Michelle Obama?
Ugh, as if.
Right, stop playing. Even Michelle Obama will tell them folks behind the scenes, stop playing in my face and go get me some real protection. Yeah, she'll get on camera and keep it cute and cordial. That's what she's supposed to do. She's not crazy, and none of us are either. These little 5-foot women should not be in charge of guarding a 6'3", 280, possibly 300-pound man. That's crazy. And most U.S. presidents are tall. In the last 30 years, every president has been at least 6 feet. Clinton and Obama 6'2", Trump 6'3". He's the 3rd tallest president in history, behind Lyndon Johnson and the tallest president ever, Lincoln. And you can't forget about their children. The Secret Service also have to protect them. They're tall too. The Obama girls are 5'11" like their mom. Ivanka Trump, she's also a tall woman, 5'11". Eric Trump, 6'5". Baby Trump Barron just grew up out of nowhere. It's like one day he just woke up and he was 7 feet. Yeah, I'm saying stop playing. It doesn't matter what party you're with. This should be an American issue. I wouldn't wish this on anybody or their family. Not the Trumps, the Biden family, not the Obamas, the Bush family, or the Clintons. Anybody. And I'm telling you, this Secret Service failure should open the eyes of everyone who didn't realize before things can get real, really fast. Now, word is the Secret Service did not sweep that building.
A Secret Service spokesman tells CNN that agents did not personally sweep the building where the gunman was perched at Saturday's rally. A source says one of 2 local counter snipers was supposed to be covering that very building. The Pennsylvania State Police says they were not responsible for that area. The head of the Secret Service, we should know, Kimberly Cheadle, announced this morning that the agency will fully participate in the independent review.
Wait a damn minute. Wait a damn.
How do you not sweep the building that's right there? Super fail. Then there was an officer who encountered the shooter on the rooftop before pulling a Uvalde and running away.
So this is a big piece of information that the Associated Press now reporting. According to several officials who spoke to them on the basis of anonymity, they are saying that it has been learned in this investigation that a local police officer had been flagged down by those rally goers who noticed that the suspect, Thomas Crooks, had climbed up onto a nearby roof. They had flagged down this local officer. The officer climbed up onto the roof and reportedly went up there to confront the suspected shooter. That suspected shooter, Crooks, pointed his rifle at the officer, according to the AP, and that officer retreated, then giving the suspect the chance to fire his weapon at former President Trump.
Oh, my goodness.
They should have pulled Trump off stage before this even happened. From the time the audience saw that man on the roof, security should have seen him too. Really, they should have spotted him out and caught him up there before the people saw him. No, I do not believe the so-called best in the country should be this sloppy and this incompetent, which is why I still believe today Trump shouldn't trust anybody. The head of the Secret Service is facing a lot of scrutiny right now.
My reaction is that where was she, or where was any representative from the United States Secret Service at the initial press conference? I mean, that is their site. They should have had a representative there. Why have we not heard from her yet? Americans want to understand. If there is a time for her to come forward, it is now. And it's just radio silence. It's unacceptable. And she has this plan in place. It's very well known. You know, by 2030, she wants 30% of, female staff at the Secret Service. Maria, why should that matter? We should be focused on protecting. That is the job of the Secret Service.
She's got her comrades out here catching strays.
I don't understand why it is that you had one of the most significant events in the Secret Service's history occurred yesterday, and no one from the Secret Service has publicly decided to take questions about what happened. And the FBI today openly giving us an on-the-record briefing about their investigation, but yet we still have not heard from anyone from the Secret Service.
So my role in the Secret Service is the R&C coordinator, so that is my purview. Any questions regarding yesterday's event can be directed to our public affairs office out of DC.
So because Incompetent Kim wouldn't come out, other leaders in her organization had to avoid questions while the so-called big boss dodged the press. It took her days to engage with the media, and when she finally did that, she took no accountability and blamed local law enforcement instead.
When you said that local law enforcement was responsible for that building, what did you mean by that?
So Secret Service respects local law enforcement, and we could not do our job either investigatively or on our protective mission without them. In Pennsylvania, in fact, on that same day, they were also working the First Lady trip and a vice presidential trip. So I understand the constraints that they're under, and as I said earlier, we couldn't do our job without them. At that particular site, we divided up areas of responsibility, but the Secret Service is solely responsible for the design and the implementation and the execution of the site. And that's what I was trying to stress, was that we just divided up areas of responsibility, and they provided support to those areas of responsibility.
The Secret Service increased security for former President Trump because of a credible threat from Iran. I've spoken with several people who look at the perimeter, hearing that news, look at the perimeter and say, How, knowing that there was a credible threat against the former president, how could that perimeter be so small that it excluded a building just 150 yards away from the podium?
I can't get into the specifics of any threats, but obviously with all of our protectees, we're constantly monitoring the threats that are out there, and we design our security plan based on that, also depending on the venue and the environment that we're in. And on that particular day, a full advance had been completed, but this is also why we are doing an internal review, and we look forward to the external review as well. And obviously, if there are things that we need to change about our policies or our procedures or our methods, we are certainly going to do so.
Was that perimeter too small?
The perimeter encompassed the area that we needed to secure for the event that we had on that day. What happened is a terrible incident and should never happen, and we are obviously going to make sure that moving forward we take whatever lessons that come out of this and adjust accordingly.
Was every element, every part of his, from the intelligence to the counter-assault team to the detail agents to the shift agents, I mean every element top to bottom of the advance in the operation, was every element increased after you learned of this credible threat?
What we increased was what we felt was appropriate for the former president and for that particular event on that day. We have been increasing the assets and the resources and the staffing that we have been providing to the former president since he was a presidential candidate and then the presumptive nominee. That's what I can tell you.
That sounds like a no.
I am not saying a no at all. I'm saying that we have continued to increase the resources that we've been providing to the former president.
Yeah, Kimberly, you gotta go. It's not just about Trump, but a 50-year-old man lost his life while he was shielding his wife and daughters. 2 other men injured. Listen, this could happen to any of them at any rally, including the people you support. So yeah, it's unacceptable across the board. And Kimberly, as the head honcho, you have to take responsibility. You can't be more interested in forming a feminist organization inside the Secret Service and replacing the men than actually making sure you get the job done. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started. Let me know what you think about this below. Special thank you to Philip J. I appreciate you, Philip J, for all of your support, as well as William A. Special thank you to William A. I want to send a big shout out to Nikki P and Harold. Don't forget that you can support this channel as well. Links to Cash App and PayPal are below. Ladies, fellas, want a balanced analysis, want the truth from a woman's perspective? Then you're going to want to subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to like and share.